Hello everyone and welcome. This is one movie that I do really nothing about, but I was very excited to see it just because it's something different from all the big blockbusters we're getting this summer. So welcome to my review of It Comes at Night. In 2015, I went to the AFI Film Festival down here in Hollywood about November, I think, of 2015, and I saw a movie called Krisha. It's a small indie film that was picked up by A24 from a young director, and I really liked the film. It is now on Amazon Prime. If you have an account, you get a chance to see it there at no extra cost. I do recommend it because it was one of the reasons why I wanted to see this film, because this film was the guy who made Krisha, or whatever that was. Actually met, not the filmmaker, but I met the filmmaker's mom and the filmmaker's aunt. But anyways, back to It Comes at Night. So with It Comes at Night, it was his second feature film, and I thought Krisha, even though I didn't love the film, I thought it was handled in a very interesting indie way. It looked really good, very provocative and interesting, and I've never seen a Thanksgiving movie quite like Krisha. So that was a big, major reason that I wanted to see It Comes at Night. Now, I knew nothing about the film. I remember seeing the initial teaser trailer. Just really looked weird and mysterious, and I didn't know who was in the film. I didn't know what the film was about. I knew we were going to see a horror film, but I didn't know if it was going to be some supernatural horror or survival horror or end of the world horror or even slasher, maybe a slasher horror film. But I'm not going to try and explain too much in this review, because if you really want to see this film, I suggest that you really know nothing about seeing the film before watching it. Any film that you're really interested in seeing, I try and stay away from trailers nowadays because they pretty much show you everything. But at least with this one, it gave you an idea what the movie's going to look like, maybe the feel, the atmosphere, but it really didn't tell you what the movie was ultimately going to be about. I watched the film, and lo and behold, Joe Egerton is one of the stars in the film. And another actress named Carmen Ejogo, and some other people, Riley Keith, whatever, and some new ones, a new actor named Kelvin Harrison Jr.'s in the film, and another actor named Christopher Albert. So that rounds out the cast of the movie. It's a small cast, one major location. Something happens at night and during the day and during the afternoon and with all these other people. And I'm not really going to tell you what happens or who these characters play, because I actually enjoyed the fact that I didn't know much about this movie before watching it. So it continually somewhat surprised me throughout the film. The movie looks great. There's great music. The acting is pretty awesome overall. It didn't leave me... Well, it left me wanting a lot more from it, definitely. But it didn't... it didn't leave me with the feeling that I felt like I had wasted my time. It just felt like a very unfinished film. Especially the way the last, let's say, 20 minutes of the movie, I felt were interesting, but then something like, what? Or what is that? Or huh? Or hi? I just was a little upset by the final act of this movie. But I like the movie. It's a slow-paced thriller. It takes its time. It's very mysterious. There's not a lot of answers to the questions that are raised in this film. And I would have liked... I admire what the filmmakers were going for. I feel like they were going for something that was more leaving it up to you, the audience, to try to figure out what's happening. A little wonder, because sometimes movies are showing you everything and they explain everything and then they leave you going, well, I didn't really feel like I learned anything, and now I feel like I just wasted my time and everything was just spoon-fed into me. But I actually think the filmmakers more interested in creating the atmosphere, exploring ideas of how humans would react in a situation like this, and how they would deal with what's going on in a situation like this, other than the fact that, it's a straightforward film that just, spoon-feds and gives you everything that you expect from a movie like this. I enjoy that for the surprises. Again, it had wonderful locations, an interesting setting, and I liked how the characters interacted with each other. I thought that was the strongest part of the movie. I wish there were some moments of tension. There was moments that really had me on the edge of my seat, but then there were moments, a lot of moments in the film where I didn't feel much or care too much, but just enough to be interested throughout the 90-minute experience. Now, I see a lot of movies like this at film festivals. I've been very blessed to go to film festivals thanks to some great friends, and also being here on YouTube and meeting people and going to see weird and exotic kind of movies that leave you a little perplexed or a little upset at the end. So I think this movie would be more inviting to those kind of audiences than a mainstream audience. But you can thank to A24, who also distributed this film, because they have a good eye for finding films that have some sort of mass appeal, but are still centered in the art house indie world. Now, when this movie ended, I felt like I had watched a movie similar to last year's The Witch. Especially the way the audience kind of reacted at the end of this movie. There was a lot of groaning and like what was that? That was terrible. So the movie is not for everyone. It's not something that will be enjoyable for everyone. I think a lot of people that are looking for a horror film but expecting more of the same will be very upset. But if you're looking for something just a little bit smarter than your average horror film that delivers just the same old jump scares and stuff like that, I think this movie does have more to offer. And this is just a really interesting director. His name is Trey Edward Schultz or something like that. And this is his second film, and I think he's just going to get better and better and better and develop better as a storyteller and as a filmmaker, and attract probably bigger stars, and maybe one day make a big budget film that probably sucks. But I hope that he kind of centers himself in this little world where he gets to tell personal stories. But at the same time, I hope that in the future he develops better stories that give us more of a character arc, and then doesn't leave us like going, what the hell did I just watch? Was it all... Because the way the movie presents itself, it presents itself in 2 aspect ratios, and near the end, as it was kind of going back and forth with those aspect ratios of like, what is real, what is not, I don't fully understand. I would love to meet the director one day. I met his aunts and I met his mom. Maybe one day I'll get a chance to meet him and find out why or what was the purpose of this movie overall. But in the end, I was mildly entertained by the film, and I'm not going to recommend it to everyone, but if you want something different with your horror and you want something that leaves you feeling a little bit disturbed at one end and also frustrated at the other, then this is the film you might want to check out. And for that, I'm just glad, just what I'm ultimately happy about is that it's just something different from all the mediocre movies that we've gotten this summer so far, these big mediocre films, sadly. And so I'm glad to take a break from that for a little bit and see something that felt more personal to the filmmakers, and it's going to be more polarizing as it goes along. And I think critics who are a lot more intelligent and smarter than me, they like to analyze and figure out what that means. I'm looking forward to their deep reviews about this movie and what they think about the film ultimately, and what, these different ideas and theories that the film may be about in their own opinions. That's what I want to see now. But in the end, I like the film right now. Maybe I'll love it in the future or hate it more in the future. I don't know. But in the meantime, right now, I like this film, and I'm going to give It Comes at Night. I'm going to give it 3 stars out of 4.